Hi, I'm Sue from Garden Moxie. Welcome to my garden. This is a little bit different format for me, but we're going to do a little bit of a gardening vlog today, and I'm just going to show you some of my chores. I garden here in southeast Michigan. It's cold, it's winter. For the most part, everything is dormant right now. There's a couple of important garden tasks that I wanted to get done today, and I just thought I'd have you tag along with me. All right, so the first task I have here is I want to do some super hard pruning on this red twig dogwood. So this is not a sophisticated gardening task. I'm literally just going to take my loppers. I also have a hand saw because a couple of these branches are pretty huge. And I am just going to be cutting this thing about 12 inches from the ground. I'm also going to be taking this opportunity to look at the center of this tree, and if there's any branches that are basically that look really dried out or dead, those are going to get cut right to the ground. So let me go ahead and just take care of this quickly here. So first I'm just gonna cut these, and you know what, I'll probably just put these in my front window boxes or in my urns that are on the patio. And that's a dead branch there. So again, this is not, there's not a lot of finesse here. I am just really cutting this thing. There's a lot of really old wood, and you can tell the old wood. Let me give you an example. So this one I'm going to cut right to the ground. You can even hear it that it's dry. And let me show you the difference in the color here. I'll grab a piece of branch that is nicer looking, and we can see what the difference is here, so you understand what I'm talking about when I say the old branches I want to just cut to the ground. So this is an old branch. I mean, you can see it's like dark brown, especially when you compare it to this other one that is a younger branch, which still has a lot of the red here. So branches that are like this, I'm just going to cut them right to the ground. The other branches, I'm just going to leave about 12 inches from the ground. All right, so let me just get in here. So this branch here, which is really an old branch, but it has lost its color. It just doesn't look good. And this branch I'm just cutting right to the ground. I'm going to use my hand saw and make short order of this. Get it as close to the ground as I can. Just totally, oh, it's actually frozen there. Okay, get rid of that one. And there's a couple other really old branches here that again I'm going to just cut to the ground. I'm trying to make this a little bit tidier in this area, so this is going to look super drastic. Quite honestly, I'm looking at this thing, I'm just cutting it all to the ground. So not too not too much of a finesse job there. So there's our first garden task finished. The next task that I have here that I want to take care of is I want to look at the hellebore. So we have a bunch of hellebore foliage here, and you can see that some of it doesn't look good. And I kind of, if the foliage looks good, I wait until a little bit more closer to the time that it is going to bloom before I cut anything back. But this foliage is looking particularly bad, and it also looks like it might have a little bit of, it's hard to say, it doesn't look like it's got any disease on it, but it doesn't look good. So I want to take care of that. I want to get rid of that foliage. And again, this is really not a finessey kind of thing. Now what I want to do is I want to be careful. In the center here, we've got a flower bud, and so I want to make sure that I'm not going to cut any of the new flower buds. So I'm just very carefully removing some of this foliage from the hellebores that don't look good here. And then I'll definitely take this out of the garden. I don't want to leave these leaves hanging around. And then this will be ready for when the spring comes. Now, this hellebore here is a seedling. Again, I just am going to be careful because some of this foliage really is not looking super great right now. So I'm just going to take this opportunity to kind of clean this up a little bit. Try to save some of these nicer dogwood branches for decorations. Obviously, it's so cold out here, there's no way. The soil in the urns are frozen solid, so I'll need to heat up some water to thaw that soil. And then I'll just stick some of these in there, and it'll make a nice little decoration. All right, the last task I have here is I want to do some regenerative pruning. I need to cut back all of these 9-bark trees. Just gorgeous foliage, perfect for this location. They are deer resistant. They've got a beautiful, bright, chartreuse colored leaf. They're just a wonderful plant. They were supposed to, according to the tag, they were supposed to be up to 5 feet tall, 4 feet wide. Yeah, these plants get much taller than I do, and they're also much wider than 4 feet. So they're planted too closely together based on how they've been growing. So I do need to put another layer of gloves on because it is freezing cold here. And for the most part, I should be able to handle this with my loppers, but the really thick branches, I'm going to use my handsaw. All right, so again, this is 9-bark. This is a native in my area, actually a native tree, and or shrub. And this is not going to be a finesse kind of job. I'm just going to come in here and I'm going to cut everything down to about, I'm thinking maybe like 1.5 feet from the ground. And then there's going to be a couple, like this is an older branch here. This just is an older branch, and I'll cut that. Once I get everything cut down, I'm going to look at the branch colors, and some of them I'm going to cut right to the ground. So it won't be too exciting, but this is going to be an important task for this winter, and it is freezing. But I need to do this while these trees are dormant. All right, the question is, can I finish this before my fingers freeze? I'm just gonna I'm gonna cut it a little bit taller than I intend to and just see what I got here. I'm gonna try the first one here and just see how things look and how easy or difficult it is to trim them. This is an old branch. This is going down to the ground. Again, you can see this is like a really old branch. So I'm just cutting branches like this right to the ground. And again, I'm just trying to rejuvenate these plants so that they grow from the ground, grow up with fresh stems. You can see how this is like such an old looking branch. So anything that looks like that, I'm going to be cutting right to the ground. All right, so I'm going to just continue this. I won't bore you by showing you all of it, but when I'm done, I'll show you what it looks like. So one of the things that's exciting is I found a bunch of boxwood that have seeded themselves. I've got a whole bunch of them here. Gosh, there's got to be at least 10 little plants, if not more. So that was fun. That was fun to find today. I'll be able to, in the springtime, I'll put these in a pot and pot them up and put them in the garden. Well, that's it for this video, friends. I'll see you in the next one.